Yeah, good afternoon YouTube and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be teaching you one of my favourite tricks, which is the 360. So let's dive in and take a look. As you can see, I have my ramp set up like a fly out, and I'm going to be learning today to a grass landing as it's slightly softer. However, if you're not so confident, you could always put a mattress or something soft on the ground, or with the ramp you could take it and practice into water first. Make sure that the takeoff angle isn't too steep, because the flatter the ramp, the easier it is to do a 360. Now your ramp is perfectly set up, it's time to test it before we try some spins. Make sure wherever you put your ramp that you have a good run up and then send it. Oh, that works absolutely perfect. It's going to be so good for learning tricks like the 360 out of it. It's now time to try it. So let's break the 360 down into 4 basic steps. The first step for learning the 360 is the approach to the ramp. Now we're going to need about 3 foot of air to learn a 360 comfortably. So make sure you judge your speed according to your setup. As you're pedaling at the ramp, make sure you stop pedaling a decent distance away from the kicker, because this gives you a chance to get into the attack position, looking at the ramp with your arms and knees slightly bent. You're now approaching the ramp at full speed and you're ready to spin the 360. The next step is the out of the ramp stage, and this is the most important part when learning the 360, because if you get this bit wrong, it affects the whole rotation. The main thing you want to avoid is turning too early up the ramp, because this will either make you drag your back wheel and that will make you crash, or you will find that you will spin off to the side of the ramp and travel sideways, which means that if you have a landing ramp there, you're most likely going to miss it. To avoid spinning too early and making a mistake, you must wait until your front wheel reaches the top of the ramp. At that point, you then start to spin exactly the same direction and same technique that you used earlier when we was learning the 180. However, this time, you want to turn your head and look at the rear wheel, as this not only helps you spin, but it also helps you to see where you are within the spin. So you're now mid-air spinning a 360, it feels amazing. The perfect body position mid-rotation is to be neutral. Have your arms and knees slightly bent and aiming to land 2 wheels together. However, this isn't always possible. Sometimes within the 360, you need to either speed it up or slow it down, depending on what's happening within the rotation. If you need to speed it up, then what you do is you twist your hips exactly the same way that you would if you was jumping in a circle on the ground. If it's spinning too quick and you're going to over rotate, to prevent that happening, open up, make yourself nice and big, and this should help slow the rotation of the bike down. It's also really important when doing a 360 to keep your eye on the back wheel, because this will help you with visibility within the 360, so you know exactly where you are, and that's going to help on the next step, which is the landing. You should aim to spot your landing about halfway around the rotation. At this point, stop looking at the back wheel and then focus at where you're going to be landing. As you're about to touch down, use your arms and knees, bend your arms and knees to absorb the landing. If you're under rotating the spin, it's natural to want to stick your leg out. Please don't do this, because you're just so vulnerable to breaking a bone. Instead, what you should do is drop the rear wheel, because if this lands first, you can then pivot and complete the rest of the rotation. That's so good. So now that you have the 360 dialed out of the fly out ramp, the best thing about the MTB hopper and the grass bank is that you can simply put the hopper on top of it to make a step down and take your 360 to the next level.